What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Again, I am Kyle with Limitless Power Sports Service and Repair. What we got going on today right here behind me, we got a 2005 Yamaha R6. Customer states that he's having I believe a charging issue. His battery goes dead. He's looked online for other stuff. So we're gonna run through on how to check the stator statically, internally, and the AC voltage output to determine if it's the stator or the rectifier on this thing. Very simple job to do. Again, when it comes to a Japanese motorcycle, don't go on Amazon and buy the cheap Chinese parts. I've run into major issues with aftermarket stators causing major electrical problems in these things. So please, if you're working on a Japanese bike or you have one, please buy OEM. It's gonna make your life a million times better. Not saying everyone's gonna be a piece of crap, but a lot of them do cause problems. So OEM is always key when it comes to working on Yamaha, Honda, Kawasaki, Suzuki, anything. Just make sure you get OEM products. Now, if you're working on a Hyson or something like that, that's a different story. But here on the Japanese products, guys, we're gonna stick with OEM products. So let me walk you through the steps on how to check the charging system on this 2005 Yamaha R6. All right, guys, so I removed the bodywork, make it easier to look at this and the tank. Unfortunately, I've ran into multiple issues already when I first looked in bodywork. I mean, yes, you can extend your wires and stuff. So that's been soldered there, runs up through here. It's also been soldered here down to the plug. The bad part about that is, well, then you have your feedback for the battery right here. And then you also have your ground, which is a little bit exposed right there. So we'll have to clean that up. Bad part about that is now you're making multiple connections, multiple spots for it to heat up. I'm gonna take a wild guess, and whoever he bought this from, because I know he had just bought it not long ago, that's kind of jimmy rigged this in here, unfortunately. Also, I saw back here on the battery, you can see the actual post is ready to come out of the battery, it seems like, so that's no good. So we'll have to replace the battery first off, and then we can basically unplug out of the rectifier right here, and we can check statically the connections to make sure we're not grounded out internally, and after I replace the battery, then we can check to see if the AC voltage output is correct. So what we'll do, we'll pull that out, we'll test all three spots there, we'll test it internally, we'll test it to the ground on the battery, and then we'll fire it up. We'll put the tank back on to fire it up and check AC voltage output. I also found this wire on the fuel pump. It came right out, unfortunately, so I'll have to fix that also before I can move along. Couple other things with hose routing, hoses not being connected to the airbox, pair valve stuff, so running some issues there. So we're gonna run through how to check this stator on this thing real quick, and we'll try to clean all this up and get it back to OEM specs as close as we can. All right, guys, so we got our multimeter, we got our plug. I usually always start at the battery just to check battery voltage. So we'll check battery voltage first, but on both PC, even that battery is not exactly one I want to use. I will get a new one. I just want to check battery voltage, and you can see it's a little loose anyways. So that's definitely got to be fixed there. We always want to make sure those are tight. And here we go. So on the battery right now, we have 12.75 volts. So what else I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do a quick little load test on it. I'm gonna grab my load tester, make sure the battery actually doesn't have a bad cell. Because I know he said at one point in time he would check it and he'd hit the button and it would go down to like 4 volts, but I'm not sure exactly what his voltage was at. So let's just check it anyways, even though I don't like the battery. Turn this thing on. Let's see. Check our cranking amps on it. There's a 10S. Should be around 210. Checking it right now. Shows the battery's good. So it shows the battery's good, but I still don't like the way it connects back here. I'm afraid that's gonna eventually break off. But I will tighten that up real quick while we're standing here. But you see the way that moves, that's not good. So we'll have to get a new battery. All right, anyways, now what we can do, we can statically test the internal grounds on the stator over here. So what we'll do, we'll put the voltmeter on ohms, or you even put it on diode if you want. It doesn't really matter. It does the same thing, so if a diode gives you a feedback. So we'll check in between all three of these yellow wires. This particular model, unfortunately, got yellow to black to white, but usually either yellow wires, white with a red tracer sometimes. Not on this model, I'm just talking about in general. Yellow with a red tracer, it just kind of varies. There's usually 3 of them. So we'll put one there and we'll check between all 3 of these. We'll check here. And we do have continuity. Let's see how many ohms we have. 0.3, that's pretty good. Check this one. 0.3, that's good. And we'll go from the middle to this one. 0.3. So we know internally there is no grounds. So now we'll go back to the end and we'll check the chassis grounds. If I don't get all wrapped up here on the shifter. So we'll put that back in here on the first one, and now I'll just go. You can go to the chassis anywhere if you want, or you can go to the battery. I prefer battery. Battery's a good ground. You got infinity, which is good. If we get ohms back, we know there's a ground somewhere in the wiring. We're good there. And we're good there. So far, 2 out of 3 checks have turned out very, very well. So far, I'm looking at what may be the rectifier causing these issues. So next, I'll throw the gas tank back on. I'll fix this connection. We'll fire it up, and we'll check the AC voltage output, and we'll rev it up to about 5,000 RPMs, and we'll read that and make sure we have the same output in all 3 legs here, just like we did when we checked the internal ground. All right, guys, got the gas tank back on. What we're gonna do, I got the rectifier plugged in. I forgot to check charging voltage at the battery to confirm his issues. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna set my multimeter up here, put it on volts DC. I'm gonna grab some alligator clips. Actually, no, I don't need to grab any alligator clips. I'll set this in here like so. This in here. What I wanna do, we're showing 12.75. This plastic piece has actually been on here since 2000 and I don't even know something when I bought this. So let's turn the key on if we can. There we go. Switch, key. I did not hear a fuel pump. Let's see what's going on here. I did not hear a fuel pump on that. No prime. There we go. Just need to get the key far enough. All right. So right now we're at 12.5 volts DC. We're gonna hit the starter button here. Should be able to reach over. See if I can't get this in view for you guys. Drop down to 10, but not bad. But you can see it's absolutely not charging at all. So what we're gonna do, we're going to go ahead and unplug the voltage regulator, put it on volts AC, and see what the output is. So let's reach in here, unplug the voltage regulator. There we go. Got it out now. So like I said, we're gonna do the same thing we did last time, except we're gonna have it on AC voltage, and we're gonna check between all 3 yellow leads again. So we got to turn on AC volts. Let me figure I can get you guys a good shot of that. Let me switch sides here maybe. That's all right, we can hold it by hand. So what we'll do, untangle my wires here. One there, one here. Let's fire it back up real quick. Right now at an idle, you got 25. Rev it up a little. So right there we had almost 50. Skip over to the next one. got 25. Doing good there. Now we'll check the middle. 23, 4, 24. It's a little bit lower, not bad though. And we're looking good there. So I'm going to say on this one, guys, it's going to be a rectifier. There is a way to check that. You can check it forward bias, reverse bias. One way it will have ohms, the other way it won't. I'm not going to run through that because pretty much just checking this stator shows that it's good. All three checks check out. Checking between these with ohms for internal ground was good. They had all open circuits, we had ohms. It had no open circuits, and going from here to ground, we had all infinity, so it has no open circuits there. Check the AC voltage, all almost spot on with each other. So 99% of the time when it comes to that, it's gonna end up being your rectifier. I'm still not a fan of the 3 solders here. Like I said, it creates more points to heat up here, here, and down here. So I'm gonna get him a rectifier in order, and we'll throw that thing in there. And we'll go back and check it, guys, and we'll see if we're getting charging voltage at that battery. Again, I am going to probably switch this battery out because I do not like that connection at all. That way we know we're not gonna run into issues there. All right, guys, so this is where we're at on this 2005 R6 right now. What I ended up doing, I got a factory OEM rectifier. We did order a new stator for it, but the wrong one came in. They sent me, for some reason, the completely wrong part number. So I just had them cancel the order. What I did do, I did find a buddy of mine had a whole kit of factory connect pieces, connectors and terminals. So he just go ahead and brought them over to the racetrack and gave them to me the other day. So now I had to do some changing on the plugs and the terminals. And now we have the factory connection in there. I'm still not a fan of this wiring here, but it does work. So until the stator burns out, we're just going to go ahead and stick with that. Save my customer a little bit of money here. So now next thing I gotta do, I'm gonna stick the gas tank back on it, and then we'll go ahead and hook up the fuel lines, fire this thing up, and check our charging voltage here at the battery. All right, got the gas tank back installed. You guys are sitting on the back passenger seat of the motorcycle here. We'll go ahead and turn our voltmeter to volts DC. Try to set you up at a good angle here. Hopefully you guys can see that. Let's go ahead and check it statically while we're sitting here. Of course, it doesn't want to stand up for us. It is showing 12.47. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the key on. See the voltage dropping there, going back up. That's good. All right, hit the start button. You guys can see the charging voltage is starting to rise. 13. That's just at an idle too. 13.3. Stay here until it stops and see where we're at. Make sure the stator's not overcharging, but according to our test, it shouldn't be. So setting at 13.4 with 13.5 at an idle is really nice. So 13.4.8, 13.4.9. Go ahead and give it a little bit of gas here. See if it goes up anymore. 13.5. So 13.5 is really good at an idle. You definitely don't want any more than 14.7. Once you get up above that, then you start, the stator starts to be overcharging, destroys the rectifier, and then the stator pretty much is burned out too at that point. So 13.5 at an idle is really good. Glad to see that. So that's how you guys check the charging system on a 2005 Yamaha R6. You know, guys, please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a comment down below. And if you have any questions about motorcycles, ATVs, UTVs, any of that stuff, feel free to give me a holler. I'll be happy to take care of you guys. Again, I am Kyle at Limitless Power Sports Service Repair. I'll catch you on the next one.